The internet thrives on surprises, and sometimes all it takes is a single photo to send an entire fandom into a frenzy. That's exactly what happened when rehearsal shots of Sam Heughan and Lia Williams in Macbeth suddenly surfaced online. The images, stark and moody, showed the two actors in a raw, almost unsettling intensity, nothing like what fans of Outlander had grown accustomed to seeing from Heughan. Within hours, the photos were trending, and the reactions ranged from awe to genuine shock. For over a decade, Sam Heughan's face has been synonymous with Jamie Fraser, the dashing Highland warrior whose passion and loyalty anchored the world of Outlander. His fans had followed him through battles, heartbreak, and sweeping romance, often blurring the line between character and actor. So when the first rehearsal photos of Macbeth were released, they revealed something jarringly different. Not the gallant Jamie, but a man swallowed by ambition, paranoia, and the shadows of Shakespeare's darkest tragedy. The photos were grainy, stripped of glamour, and deliberately unpolished. One showed Sam leaning forward, eyes narrowed, his hand clenched in a fist as if wrestling with invisible demons. Another captured Lia Williams, sharp and commanding as Lady Macbeth, her gaze fixed on him with the kind of icy determination that could bend even the strongest will. Together, the two exuded a tension so palpable that viewers felt it even through their screens. The setting was modest, a rehearsal hall rather than a grand theater, but that rawness only heightened the effect. Harsh lighting cast long shadows across the walls. Sweat, not makeup, glistened on their foreheads. Their costumes were plain rehearsal clothes, yet the intensity of their expressions suggested they had already stepped fully into the skin of their characters. It wasn't a performance staged for the audience, it was something intimate, caught mid-creation. For fans used to seeing Sam in kilts, period jackets, or red carpet tuxedos, the transformation was almost startling. On social media, the reactions came fast and furious. "I don't even recognize him. That's not Jamie Fraser, that's Macbeth himself," one fan tweeted. "Chills. Absolute chills. I didn't think photos could terrify me, but here we are." Another wrote, "Sam and Lia together? This is going to be explosive on stage." Some were skeptical, unsure how their beloved television hero would fare in the grueling demands of live Shakespearean theatre. Others were exhilarated, thrilled to see him break free of expectations and plunge into a role so unforgiving. Whatever the reaction, one thing was certain: the photos had everyone talking. But it wasn't just the fanbase that buzzed. Theater insiders noted the significance of the pairing. Sam, best known for global television, stepping into one of literature's most complex and tortured roles. Lia Williams, a veteran of the stage, with decades of experience bringing depth and nuance to every character she touches. Together, they promised a clash of energies, television stardom meeting theatrical mastery. The shock of the photos wasn't only in the expressions or poses, it was in the message they sent. Sam Heughan was ready to shed the safe comfort of a beloved role and take on something riskier, darker, and infinitely more demanding. Macbeth is not a part you simply play, it's one you survive. And from the looks of those rehearsal shots, Sam was not only surviving, he was thriving. For Lia Williams, the reaction was equally intense. Known for her fierce intelligence on stage, she seemed perfectly cast as Lady Macbeth, the catalyst and co-conspirator in one of Shakespeare's bloodiest tales. In the photos, her proximity to Sam carried a dangerous allure, her body language radiating both intimacy and menace. To audiences, it was clear: this Lady Macbeth was no supporting role. She was a force, equal to or greater than her husband. Together, the images told a story without words. A man and a woman bound by ambition. A marriage unraveling under the weight of guilt. A descent into madness that felt disturbingly real. For anyone scrolling through their feed that day, it was impossible to look away. What stunned fans most, however, was how quickly Sam seemed to disappear into the role. Gone was the romantic hero, the easy smile, the twinkle in his eye that charmed millions. In its place was a haunted figure, shoulders tense, eyes burning with a desperation that bordered on frightening. For longtime supporters, it was both a shock and a revelation. proof that their star was capable of far more than they had ever imagined. And that's why those rehearsal photos mattered. They weren't just behind-the-scenes snapshots. They were a declaration of intent. Sam Heughan was stepping into new territory, and he wasn't easing his way in. He was diving headfirst. With Lia Williams by his side, the stage was set not only for a powerful production of Macbeth but also for a reinvention of Sam's career. Still, the question lingered. Could he truly carry the weight of Macbeth, one of the most demanding roles in theater history? Fans would have to wait for opening night to know for sure. But judging by those photos, the answer seemed to be yes, and then some. As the images circulated, sparking headlines and debates, one thing became undeniable. This was more than just a new role. It was a transformation in progress, and audiences around the world were watching it unfold, one rehearsal photo at a time. If the rehearsal photos stunned fans with their raw intensity, the story behind them is even more compelling. Because Macbeth isn't just another role, it's one of the most feared, revered, and punishing characters in the Shakespearean canon. For Sam Heughan, stepping into Macbeth is more than a career move. It's a test of everything he has learned as an actor, and perhaps the boldest risk of his career so far. For over a decade, Sam has lived in the shadow of Jamie Fraser, a role that brought him fame, admiration, and a fiercely loyal global fanbase. Yet with all its rewards, Outlander also defined him in ways that could be limiting. Audiences saw him as the romantic warrior, the noble husband, the face of epic historical drama. But what happens when an actor wants to stretch beyond the role that made him famous? The answer, in Sam's case, is to tackle Macbeth. Unlike Jamie, Macbeth is not a hero. He is ambitious to the point of ruin, a man whose desires consume him, dragging everyone around him into darkness. The role demands vulnerability and ferocity in equal measure. It requires an actor to plumb the depths of guilt, paranoia, and madness while still holding the audience in thrall. It is, in short, a crucible, and Sam has chosen to walk into the fire. Behind the photos that shocked fans lies a grueling rehearsal process. Shakespeare on stage is a far cry from film or television. There are no second takes, no edits to fix mistakes, no sweeping camera angles to heighten emotion. The words must live and breathe in the moment. Every performance is a tightrope walk, demanding stamina, presence, and total commitment. For Sam, accustomed to long shoots and carefully crafted scenes, the immediacy of theater represents both a challenge and a homecoming. Because before Outlander, there was the stage. Sam trained at the Royal Conservatoire of Scotland, honing his craft in theatre before screen roles ever came his way. In some ways, returning to Shakespeare feels less like a leap and more like a circle completing itself. But this time, he brings with him years of experience, fame, and the weight of expectation from an audience eager to see if their Jamie Fraser can transform into Scotland's darkest king. Of course, Sam isn't doing this alone. At his side is Lia Williams, a force of nature in her own right. As Lady Macbeth, she provides not just support but opposition, the driving spark that ignites her husband's downfall. In the rehearsal photos, her presence is unmistakable, sharp, commanding, magnetic. Williams has long been celebrated for her precision and intensity on stage, and her pairing with Sam creates a fascinating dynamic. The tension between Macbeth and Lady Macbeth has always been the beating heart of the play. Their partnership is one of the most complex marriages in literature, bound by love, poisoned by ambition, destroyed by guilt. Seeing Sam and Lia embody this in rehearsal offers a glimpse of the storm they are preparing to unleash on stage. For fans, it's both thrilling and unsettling. Industry insiders are already buzzing. Critics note that this production could be pivotal for Sam's career trajectory. If he succeeds, he proves himself as more than a television star. He cements himself as a serious stage actor, capable of carrying one of theater's heaviest crowns. If he falters, the contrast to his success on Outlander could be stark. But the rehearsal photos suggest he's not only ready, he's reveling in the challenge. Theater has a way of revealing the truth about an actor. It strips away the edits, the polish, the safety nets, leaving only the voice, the body, and the soul. For Sam, this is the reinvention fans didn't know they needed to see. And for Lia, it is another chapter in a career defined by fearlessness. What does this mean for audiences? It means that when the curtain rises, they won't just be watching a performance. They'll be witnessing a transformation. They'll see an actor who has carried the weight of global stardom willingly shed it to embrace something riskier, rawer, and infinitely more human. They'll see Sam Heughan not as Jamie Fraser, not even as himself, but as Macbeth, a man undone by his own hunger for power. As the buzz builds toward opening night, one thing is certain. The rehearsal photos were only the beginning. They were a shock, yes, but also a promise. A promise that this Macbeth will be bold, unflinching, and unforgettable. For fans who have walked with Sam through the sweeping romances of Outlander, this is a chance to see another side of him, darker, deeper, and more dangerous. For newcomers, it may be the first time they encounter him not as a star but as a stage actor, commanding the room with nothing but words and will. And that is the true power of those photos. They don't just reveal two actors rehearsing. They reveal ambition, artistry, and risk. They show a man stepping away from the comfort of past success into the unknown, daring to shock not just his fans but himself. When the play opens, audiences will decide whether Sam Heughan's Macbeth lives up to the promise of those haunting images. But for now, the message is clear. Sam is no longer content to be just a star. He is ready to be an artist, and the world is watching.